So, welcome to Lower Back Release. My name is Antonia, and I'm going to be taking you through the class today. So, you're going to need a few props. I have some blocks here and a yoga strap. So, feel free to grab either of those. If you don't have them, no worries. I will give you modifications. But because this is a release class, it's really nice to have props and straps to kind of support your body. Also, if you have a bolster or some pillows or cushions at home, then feel free to grab those too. So we're going to start on our hands and knees, coming down onto all fours, walking into a child's pose. So bring the knees a little bit wide, more or less wider than your hips, and your big toes are touching. And then walking your arms forward to allow your head to rest down onto the mat. And closing off your eyes as you begin to turn your awareness inside of your body. And checking in with yourself and finding out how you're doing. Notice what's coming up, what thoughts are coming up, what emotions are coming up. And leaving that to one side as you begin to turn your awareness to the center of your chest, and breathing into that space. And whenever your mind tends to wander away, and see if you can return it back to your breath. Slow inhales and exhales. And if you want to have a little bit of guidance to breathing deeply, maybe you begin to count. So as you breathe in, maybe you count to 5. And as you breathe out, maybe you count down from 5. So it's a really nice way to slow down your breathing. And don't worry if your mind keeps wandering away, that's fine. If you're doing this class maybe later on in the day, sometimes the mind can be a little bit busy. So no worries if it's wandering away. Just gently return it back to your breath. And then I want you to begin to move your awareness down to your lower back. And just notice the sensation that you feel there. Notice the side of your hips. So often those areas are connected. So sometimes if you're feeling a little bit of tightness in the lower back, sometimes there's also some tightness in the hips. So we're going to be working on those areas today. Now slowly begin to roll your body up, coming onto all fours. And having your wrists underneath your shoulders and have your knees underneath your hips. And you're going to start in a cat and cow. So make sure your fingers are spread wide and keeping your arms completely still, having your knees underneath your hips. So you're going to start by moving the pelvis first. So I want you to keep your upper back completely still and just move your hips. So arch in your back, and then curl your tailbone under. Okay, so just the hips are moving, upper body is completely still, and just starting to bring some awareness into the lower body. Beginning to synchronize your breath with the movement. So as you lift up or arch in your back, you're breathing in. And as you're exhaling, you're bringing your pelvis forward. Now you're going to begin to move your upper back now. So begin to lift your chest up, roll your shoulders down your back and feel the arch in your lower back. And as you exhale, you're going to push the palms into the mat, bring your chin to your chest. Again, big breath in, lifting up your chest, arching in the back. And exhaling, rounding. So do a few more like this in your own time. Feel free to close your eyes as you tune your awareness inside of your body. Just notice how it feels to move with your eyes closed. And then coming back to stillness. So we're going to start with some stabilization. So bring your right knee to the middle of your mat and begin to kick your left leg back. So press the toes down onto the floor and you can rock forward and back. And now begin to bring your right arm forward in line with your ears, and you want your thumb to be facing up towards the ceiling. Now slowly see if you can begin to lift up the left leg. Keep your core engaged and make sure that left hip is dropping down. You don't want to lift it out towards the side. So you're turning your toes to face the floor. Good. Holding here. And then releasing the hand and releasing the knee. Over to the other side. So move the right knee out to the side. Bring your left knee into the middle of the mat. And again, begin to kick the right foot back. Press the toes down. Rocking forward and back. So exactly how your foot is now, this is how it should be when you lift it up. So it doesn't move, including the hips. Now bring the left arm forward in line with your ears. Thumb is facing up towards the ceiling, and try to have your right shoulder on top of the right wrist too. And now slowly begin to lift that right leg up. Again, try not to change your hip positioning. Squeeze the glutes and press the heel away. Good. Big breath in and out. Gaze is down on the floor. Try not to lift up your head so your head is in line with the spine. And then releasing your hands and releasing the knee. Moving into a downward facing dog. So curl your toes under and begin to lift up your hips as you come into your first downward facing dog. And now begin to pedal out your feet. So you're bending in one knee as you're straightening the opposite leg. Pushing down through the heels and moving your hips and the side of your body. And finding some stillness in your downward facing dog. Big breath in through the nose. Exhale out through the nose. Now lift up your head, look in the center of your hands, bend the knees and begin to walk your feet towards the hands. When you get to the top, you want your feet to be hip distance apart, and then take hold of your elbows and begin to rock from side to side. So allowing your entire body to feel quite heavy. And this should feel really nice on the shoulders. And also maybe begin to feel it in the lower back. And then releasing your hands all the way down to the floor and just allow your head and your neck to hang, finding some stillness here. And remember to have your knees bent just slightly, so we're not really working on the backs of the legs here, so have a little bend in the knees. And now begin to lift up your chest halfway, breathing in. You can be up on your fingertips and then walk your hands over to the left side as you begin to straighten the left leg and bend in the right knee. So try to walk your hands as far around as possible, and you should feel the stretch all in the left side of your leg. Big breath in and out. And then walking your hands through center over to the other side. As you bend in your left leg, straighten the right leg, and then walk your hands as far around as possible. Big breath in. Maybe you lean slightly over to the left and out. And then coming back to center. And then you're lowering down onto your glutes. So you have an option to just come down as normal. Maybe you drop your knees first, or you can begin to lower down into a squat and drop yourself down. So this is where you may want to use your props. You're going to come into a seated
cross-legged position. So you have an option to use your blocks. So grab hold of your blocks. If you have one, no worries, you can place one in front of you, or if you have two, you can bring them on either side of your knees. Also, it's quite nice to use your bolster here, so if you don't want to use your blocks, you can take your bolster and then put it in the same position. Okay, so we're going to work our body forward, and if you don't have any of these, also no worries. You're going to do the exact same thing without them. So I'll demonstrate with the blocks first. So you're going to walk your arms forward and then just allow your arms to rest down on the block, and then just allow your head to rest. And if you don't have the props, you're doing the exact same thing. Arms are forward and then your head is resting down. Okay? So take a few moments here. We're going to be holding this pose for approximately 3 minutes. And by now you should feel a sensation in the sides of your hips, maybe even the inner thighs. And I want you to begin to tune into your breath and just notice how the breath naturally lifts your upper back as you breathe in. So as it's lifting, you're going to use that to lift a little bit more away from your lower back. And as you exhale, maybe you begin to walk your arms a little bit further forward, allowing your body to sink down. Feel free to close off your eyes and just focus on trying to allow your body to relax, release, letting go. And beginning to soften your face too. So often if we're holding on to tension in other areas of the body, and sometimes the jaw tends to tense up. So imagining the jaw relaxing, and also the space in between the eyebrows, imagine that relaxing too. And hopefully that translates into the rest of the body as you breathe in and as you breathe out. So if you're using your props and you want to go a little bit deeper, feel free to place them on one side. And then maybe you release the arms all the way down. And closing the eyes. And feel free to have a little bend in the elbows, or you can stretch the arms forward. And if your head is lifted up off the floor like mine is, you can also place a block underneath the head, but that's optional. It's just another way to help your body relax a little bit more. And a few more deep breaths here. In through the nose and out through the nose. And then slowly begin to walk your hands up. Take your time. And then move your blocks to one side if it's underneath your head. Good. And so walk your hands up. And then take a big breath in. Reach up with the hands. Look towards the thumbs as you inhale. And as you exhale, release the right hand down to the floor and then walk the left arm up and over your ears. Okay? So depending on how deep you want to go, you can reach that right arm a little bit further out as you lean over to the right side. And gaze can be more or less directly up towards the ceiling, like looking underneath your left arm. As you take a big breath in, reach up. As you exhale, maybe you get a little bit deeper. So often the side of the body is an area which gets tense too, which is all connected to the lower back. So it's really nice to stretch the side of the body. And coming all the way back up. Releasing the arms. Again, take a big breath in, reach up with the hands, look towards the thumbs, inhale. Exhale, releasing the left hand down to the floor this time. Walk that hand as far out as possible, and then release the right arm up and over your ears. You want to make sure that right hip is not lifting up off the floor. You want to keep the right hip down. So if you find the hip is lifting, you've probably gone too far. So keep the hip down on the floor. And big breath in to the side of the body. Exhale, reach out a little bit more. Maybe you even bend the left elbow. And then come all the way back up to neutral. Now bring the hands behind you. It doesn't matter with the fingers, they can be facing forward or behind, and you're just going to rock the knees from side to side. And then come back up. Straighten your left leg, and then take the right foot and bring it over the left knee. So the foot is more or less by the right hip. So this is where you may want to use a props again. Feel free to use a bolster if you want. If not, you're going to walk your hands forward. Try to keep a straight spine to start off with. Walking your hands to touch the front leg if you can, and then relax the head. If you want, you can hold on to the outer edge of the foot, but preferably just rest your hands on either side of the leg and just allow your entire body to hang forward. And so, and closing off the eyes. So here you probably will feel it in the left side of your hip. And maybe that moves all the way up into the lower back. So we're stretching the left side of the body and the left side of the leg. A few more deep breaths here. In through the nose and out through the nose. And then walking your hands up and straightening the left leg. And then doing the exact same thing on the other side. So bending the right knee and bringing the knee over the left leg. Have the heel quite close to the left hip. Take a big breath in. Exhale, begin to walk your hands further forward. Allowing the head to hang. And feel free to make adjustments with your props if you're using them. If not, staying exactly where you are. So again, just pay attention to how your breath naturally moves your body. You should feel a nice lift in the upper torso as you breathe in. So try and use that lift to move the weight away from your lower back. So trying to reduce that compression. And then walking your hands up and then releasing the right leg. Okay. Placing your hands back behind you, feet flat, and rock your knees from side to side. Now you're lowering down onto your backs. So lowering all the way down on your back. And then bring your knees up into your chest. Wrap the arms around your legs and then feel free to rock from side to side. And now keep hold of your right knee in your chest. Flex the left leg all the way down and flex the toes. And then begin to rotate your ankles on the left side. So draw a few circles one way and a few circles the other way. And then do the same with the right foot. So rotate the right ankle, a few circles one way and a few circles the other way. And then you're taking the knee, moving it over to the left side, and try to drop the knee down towards the floor. And then take the right arm and release it out. So you can either have the knee down or the shoulder, whatever feels more available to you. But try to have at least one of them down. Having the shoulder down, you might feel a little bit more in the lower part of your body than if you have the knee down. You are quite flexible, you might feel that both of them are touching the floor, and that's also fine.
Make sure that the left hand is on top of the knee or the thigh, and you're slowly beginning to push the knee down to the floor if it's lifted. So you should feel a nice release in the lower back. Remember not to hold your breath. And remember to use the breath to get a little bit deeper. A few more deep breaths here. And then coming back through to center. Wrap the arm around the leg. Rotate your ankles again on both sides. And then swapping the legs over. So bring your left knee into your chest this time. Right leg extends forward and down. Flex the toes on the right. And begin to rotate your ankles on the right side. So draw some big circles. A few circles one way. And a few on the left. And then you're releasing the knee over the straight leg. And releasing the arm out to the side. Make sure the palm is facing up towards the ceiling on the left side. Again, either having the knee down or the shoulder. Take a big breath in. And out. See if you can begin to get deeper into that pose. Big breath in. And out. So each time you exhale, see if you can lower the palm down into the left leg a little bit more. And then coming back through center, wrapping the arm around your knee or your shin, and begin to rotate your ankles. Draw a few circles one way and a few circles the other way. And now this is where you're going to maybe need your strap. So catch hold of your strap if you have it. And you're going to keep your left leg straight. And then take the strap, wrap it around the ball of the foot. Okay, so either side of the strap is hanging down to the side. And then walk your hands up towards the foot. Relax the shoulders, and then you're gently going to move the strap towards you. So try not to pull it too much into the chest. It's just a slight tug, okay? And don't worry if the elbows bend. If you don't need the strap, that's fine as well. You can leave it to one side, or if you don't have one, you can interlace the fingers behind the back of the leg, or you can walk it up towards the foot. Maybe you can also catch the foot, whatever feels available to you. Relaxing the shoulders down. So it's very common here for the shoulders to come up by the ears. You want to pull them down away from the ears. And you should feel a strong sensation in the backs of your legs and maybe also in the side. And now if you're using the strap, you're going to keep the strap in one hand, in your left hand. If you don't have a strap, you're going to place the hand on either the outer edge of the foot or the outer edge of the leg. Okay, and then you're moving the leg over to the left side. So it's exactly what we did before, and then release it down towards the floor, releasing your right arm out to the side. So if you have a bolster or some cushions, you can place it underneath the leg on the right side. If it's lifted up too high or quite high and it feels uncomfortable, it's quite nice to have that bolster underneath to support the leg. If not, hold on to the strap as the foot comes down to the floor, and maybe you look over the right side. So here you're feeling it all from probably the lower back, moving down through the glutes, down the right side of your leg, all the way to the foot. See if you can walk the foot a little bit closer up towards the left shoulder. if you want to go a bit deeper. And then slowly come back. You may want to bend the knee as you release, and then swapping over to the other side. So again, if you're using your strap, you take the strap, wrap it around the left foot this time, and you can hold on to either side of the strap. Right leg is completely straight too, and you're slowly going to move the strap a little bit closer towards you. Again, if you don't have it, that's fine. You can interlace the fingers behind the back of your leg or walk them up towards the ankle, or maybe you catch the foot. So depending on how deep you want to go in the backs of the legs, it just depends on your hand positioning if you don't have the strap. And if you have the strap, it's the same. Depends on how far you walk your hands up towards the foot. Again, we're not pulling too much here, we're just more or less holding on to the foot or onto the strap. And you release the back of the leg, moving it all the way up to the left side of the hip and the glutes. And then if you have the strap, you're placing your right hand around both sides and you're moving the leg over to the right side. If you don't, you can catch the outer edge of the foot or the outer edge of the leg. And then releasing the left arm out to the side. Sometimes it's quite nice to start from lower down too. That's also an option. And then keep the gaze over the left side of the body. If you want to go a bit deeper, you can begin to move the foot closer up towards the right shoulder. And take a big breath in and out. And then slowly releasing. Feel free to bend the knee as you come back. Release the strap down to the side. Bring your legs up towards the ceiling. And then just give your legs a little bit of a shake. And now this is where you're going to need your props again. So either take hold of your bolster or your block. And you're going to place it underneath your lower back. So have it completely flat if you have the block. And then release your hips down to your lower back. And then you're lifting your legs back up towards the ceiling. And releasing the arms down by your side. And closing the eyes. And so you have an option to stay here, and that's fine. But if you want to go a little bit deeper, you're going to move into a plow pose. So you can release the block from underneath you before you come up, or you can come straight into a plow from there. But I'm going to release my block from underneath me, if not staying exactly where you are. So when you're coming into a plow, you want to use momentum to get the hips as far up over your head as possible. And then you place your hands directly onto your lower back. If your feet touch the floor, you may want to release the hands. If not, you can keep them down on your back. If you're releasing your hands, you can flatten the palms down to the floor. Okay. And closing off the eyes, and I know it's quite challenging to breathe in this pose as well as talk, but see if you can still maintain the focus on your breath. So bring your palms down flat to the floor, you can bend the knees and slowly come out. So final pose for today, coming into a fish pose. So straighten the legs out in front of you, placing your palms underneath your glutes and make sure that they're facing downwards. You want to walk your elbows underneath your back too. And once you're here, bring the legs together, pointing the toes. Take a big breath in, lift up your chest as you press down into the forearms, and then drop the head as you exhale. And closing off the eyes and take a big breath in.
Breathing into the upper part of your chest and then exhale out through the mouth. Again, inhale through the nose and exhale out through the mouth. Last one, inhale through the nose and exhale out through the mouth. Releasing your head, releasing the arms down by your side, coming into Shavasana. So having the legs hip distance apart, have the palms facing up towards the ceiling, closing off the eyes and finding complete stillness here. If you have any discomfort in your lower back whilst you stay in Shavasana, feel free to have a little bend in your knees and plant the feet down on the floor and bring the knees together. So feel free to stay in Shavasana for as long as you need to. I hope you feel lovely and relaxed, and hopefully you can join some of the other classes on the app. Enjoy your practice and take care.